Don't let Bert sit.
Good, all right.
Don't
We
stand.
have the July 22nd meeting of the Conservation Commission. Will stand and salute the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Put my microphone back on. Okay, so first thing we have tonight is soil permit for George Brown, 1109 Main Road, soil permit number 488.
Mr. Chairman, this is renewal season, so this is a renewal of George Brown's soil permit, 1109 Main Road, soil permit number 488. Site visit was on July 17th, 2025. Description of the work: the owner has filed a request for a renewal of their stockpile transfer site permit number 488 at the location of 1109 Main Road. The site is used for storing earth minerals for the owner's business. The site was in good working order. Recommendations: the Westport Conservation Commission Soil Conservation Board should approve the one-year permit renewal number 488 for George Brown, 1109 Main Road.
All right, any discussion? If not, a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimously on that. Was Jake and Kevin. You're welcome. All right. Next we have septic repair, Westport WPT Properties LLC, 790 Main Road.
Is that the signature that didn't come out? Is that the
Give me
signature?
one.
Mike Bottle, Westport Environmental Design, representing WPT Properties. This is the old bank building on the north side of Lee's. That building sits right here. Normally has a septic tank and a leach pit somewhere in this area, and it's failed. So we need to do something with it, so we gotta build a new leach field. At the bottom of the hill, this hill's very steep, and we need to build this leaching field to receive the effluent. The wetlands line is flagged 100 to 101. It goes off to the northeast here and to the southeast here. The system proposed is 85 feet away from the wetlands, and the sloping that we need to meet the slope requirements is 60 feet. So that's the best I can do with it. And from the back side of the drive-through parking area, it just goes right straight down. It drops almost, probably close to somewhere around 20 feet.
Where's the existing system now, the leaching field?
It's either, I believe it's under the drive-through.
Under that
It's
section
not-
of pavement?
Yeah. It's gonna be pumped out and filled in.
All right.
Members, Mr. Chair, members, this is WT Properties LLC, 790 Main Road. This is a request for determination of applicability filed by Westport Environmental Design. The report date is July 17th, 2025. Site visit was also on July 17th, 2025. Description of the work: the applicant has filed a request for determination to repair the septic system on the property. Site is located within the front section of the Lee's parking lot. The proposed septic repair will be within the buffer zone to wetlands that exist below a steep slope in the rear of the site. Wetland flags 100 to 101 were placed accurately. Septic system leach field will be constructed 85 feet from the edge of the wetland, and the grading will bring it within 60 feet. This is a buffer zone activity. Recommendations for the board: the Westport Conservation should approve the proposed septic system repair with a negative box 3 determination for 790 Main Road, WPT Properties.
All right. Any questions on it? No. Any
Motion
questions for
approved.
the table? Not, a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, that was Jake and Phil. All in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Have a good night, Lon. Ron Oliveira, Vasro Realty Trust, Francis Estates, Charlotte White Road. Construct stormwater infrastructure grading in the buffer zone.
Yeah.
Purposely didn't do your microphone tonight.
Yeah.
We were concerned.
I stole your mic.
Do we have a butter card?
My wife says less I say the better, so I'm good.
Yes.
All right, you can start anytime you like, sir.
All right, good evening, Tom Morris with Zenith Consulting Engineers, representing Ron Olivera. So this site on Charlotte White Road, near the intersection of Main Road, had a previous subdivision done, I believe in the 20-teens. And Ron has since bought it and is going to a conventional layout. We are using the same wetland line from the previous delineation, all highlighted in green here. This one here on the left side of the page is upgrading of all the work, so there's zero impact to that at all. These are the wetland systems that we are trying to protect with our erosion control plan, which I'll see on the next sheet. But you can see here, the pink is the 100-foot buffer. We have the basin here, the outside of the berm, and then a constructed stormwater wetland basin here on the low side. We have some grading for this house, but that's going to be in a separate NOI in the future when that site plan is done. So we're just looking for the stormwater controls to be approved. And we are proposing a silt sock around the downslope limit of work, highlighted in blue. It basically surrounds everything on the downslope side. And we've got an anti-tracking pad. We're doing silt sacks, and all the catch basins. We've held a 25-foot buffer with no disturbance. And this has gone through the review of the planning board, all the stormwater design and everything has been checked out and approved. That's essentially it.
Do we have a DEP file number yet, Chris?
We do not, Mr. Chairman, so this motion will be contingent on that file number.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, members, this is Vasro Realty Trust, or what has still been called Francis Estates. It's a pre-existing property that's been through numerous reviews, and new owner now, as Tom mentioned, is Ron Olivera. Location is Charlotte White Road, Main Road. This is a notice of intent filed by Zenith Consulting with Tom Morris representing. The date of the report is July 8th, 2025. Also, the site visit was on July 8th, 2025. The file number is pending. This is planning board approved. They're waiting for the final endorsement documents from the owner. Detailed description of the work. The applicant has filed to construct a subdivision roadway called Francis Estates. The site has been previously permitted. The new owner has redesigned the subdivision to eliminate the combined septic system component. The roadway location is out of the 100-foot buffer zone, and only stormwater basins are within the buffer zone jurisdiction. Wetland line is accurately represented and previously approved on an order of resource area delineation. The two stormwater basins, one with an infiltration and one pocket wetland designed within the buffer. An infiltration basin is located along Charlotte Way Road. It will divert flows into the pocket wetland located within the buffer zone area between the two wetland systems. The pond design will utilize wetland plantings to remove contaminants before discharge into the bordering vegetated wetland. Wetland plants are designed within pockets separated by gravel berms, ending at a permanent pool, again to allow natural processes to occur within that basin. The other basin will be located to the south section of the site. This basin will be designed as an infiltration basin to provide for mass stormwater standard requirements. The basin is designed to provide a 2-foot separation from the estimated high water table. The pond will overflow into an adjacent wetland. The stormwater design will achieve the 80% total suspended solid removal. The infiltration basin must be provided in accordance with the planning board regulations. The planning board actually has a requirement in their specifics of certain size developments to infiltrate as much runoff as possible. So although I don't agree with infiltration basins in our vicinity because of the high water table, this is something that the designer was kind of pushed in the direction to provide. That is why the pocket wetland became created from my concerns, and they cooperated and allowed that design to, I think, be more specialized for our area in accordance with the high water table. Operation and maintenance plan has provided, and it should be as a condition on this order. The only other thing the applicant would be required to do is an MPDES permit before they start construction. So recommendations, rather than alternatives, the Westport Conservation should approve this proposed project with standard conditions, with the proposed stormwater basins and grading in the buffer zone for Francis Estates. This motion should be contingent pending file number, and also that the applicant is responsible for applying for an MPDES permit. That is all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do you have any questions? All right, any questions from the table? If not, a motion?
I have a question, but it's not a stormwater question, it's just to satisfy my curiosity going forward. So I know the old design, had a centralized wastewater treatment system.
Yep.
And with individual septic tanks on the lots. And is now that each home is gonna have its own, each home is gonna have its own leach field as well?
Correct.
Both, okay, all right, great. I mean, not great, but that's where it is, good.
Yeah, I think part of the reason for switching was the cost of the shared system was huge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's another project out there where everyone has their own septic system, but they have, a community leach fields, not one at each individual lot. And I was just curious what option you had.
So that's completely private on each lot.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? A motion?
Well, I move to approve the plan for Vizaro Realty Trust on Charlotte White Road, subject to the
DP file number
yes.
and the NIPD's permit they have to file as a part of the motion as well. All right, great. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second from Jason. All in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous, they don't,
Thank you.
just send that back down, so I'm not gonna bother passing this thing down. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Tom. Have a good night.
All right. So let's go through the folder here, see what we have. This is 418 G order.
Prime engineering. That's one of my things. Mr. Chairman, we had an active notice of intent filed for Jonathan Levy, 418G Drift Road. Mr. Levy had 5 years ago constructed a home within the property in the same vicinity. He conducted activity that was subject to mitigation for over disturbance in the riverfront area. He is proposing more work on the property, but he is not correctly paid for certain fees that he is associated with this application. In addition to that, he has an outstanding order of conditions with the mitigation that he was supposed to do for the house construction still not being signed off and satisfied to prove he got the 2 years growing season and established vegetation. So, I have a letter in the file for us to send to the engineer, Prime Engineering, to notify them of the information that's lacking. So basically, they filed for about 5 activities. 2 of them are associated with the dock construction. A seawall in front of the dock extending approximately 70 to 85 feet out into the river, which, in my opinion, the location is within its navigational channel of the headwater access to the head of Westport. But that would be a determination made by the Harbor Master Marine Services Director. The application is also requesting to do numerous other things, which they only paid for a Category 1 activity, and they're proposing 4 other activities. They want to put a gazebo, they want to put fencing down the property line, They want to put a boardwalk over the wetland, this mitigation area to access the gazebo. They also want to put, remove invasive species within the riverfront area, in addition to what Mr. Levy has already applied for. And also a trash curtain, which I'm somewhat concerned about, because now that all the vegetation and Phragmites has been removed, his property is seeing a lot of trash from high events in flooding or in a moon tide. And apparently it's becoming cumbersome. In order to clean it up, he wants to install some sort of trash rack under the boardwalk to collect it, because he, in their explanation, doesn't want to trample the marsh in order to pick it up, or this would make it, again, in my opinion, I think it's impeding the access of wildlife underneath, and the mesh could impede animals getting entrapped in it. So I'm not necessarily in favor of what they're proposing. I'm just trying to reiterate that they are missing some things that we need to do before we can proceed. We can discuss the lacking of this and what he's proposing once they get the actual fees corrected. So that letter is just to let them know in writing of what I'm expecting from them. So first of all, they need a certificate of compliance before we can move forward to prove the mitigation that he did in the prior application is satisfactory. And then he can propose. The boardwalk is a benefit to not walk across this area. Now it kind of, if anybody remembers, it kind of infringed on the front portion of the property because the amount of activity was exceeding what was permitted on a 30,000 square foot lot. So long story short, I'd like the commission to send that to the applicant, and then we'll schedule a hearing once they satisfy the deficiencies.
All right, do we need a motion for that, Chris?
Motion.
Yes.
Okay, we need a motion to send a letter to the applicant and to Department of Engineering regarding the deficiencies in their application.
Motion to send a strongly worded letter.
All right, do you have a second?
I second it.
There's Jake and Bart. All in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. All right, next we have East Bay Media Advertising, $61.50. Need a motion to pay?
Motion to pay.
Second.
There's Jake and Jason. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, Chris.
Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, every year ordains the statues within this Blessed Sacrament adornment that they hold for the week of, I guess it's coming towards the end of early August in New Bedford. They removed bayberry from Gooseberry Island with support from the state, and they just notify us through the process. We will just follow up with a letter, Mr. Chairman, letting them know that as long as they got their approvals through the state, we allow them to proceed.
All right. Need a motion for that, or that's just informational?
It's informational
Okay.
because I think it's the state's jurisdiction for more than anything.
All right. We have a bill from WB Masons for $379.99 for office supplies.
Motion to pay.
Motion from Kevin, do you have a second?
Second.
Second from Jake, all in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimously on. We have another bill from Woods Hole Group for $16,068.41. This is already signed. Oh, I signed this.
Ratifying it, Mr.
Yeah, we
Chairman.
need to ratify this bill, I'm sorry.
That's correct. We sent this in because it was a end of fiscal year responsibilities for June, already in July. So we proceeded with the chairman's signature. This is the spending of funds from the wetlands protection or the wetlands account that we have from applications under the Wetlands Protection Act. The funding is being utilized to pay for our assisted fee for the beach management plans that we have formulated on East Beach, Atlantic Ave, and Beach Ave. This is the first phase of the project. Total allocation we thought was going to be $30,000, but with Michael and my contribution of time, I think we whittled it down to
$16,068.41.
Correct. So that is our cost share for the grant application that we received for this project.
All right, need a motion to pay?
Motion to pay.
And I will reiterate, sorry, Mr. Chip, that those are still pending review and not fully we're working towards bringing these to the public now, so we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow night for East Beach residents. We're gonna be at the Grange from 6 to 8. The design company, Connor Olson, with his Woods Hole group is gonna be there giving the presentation and what direction that, and choices that the community has to potentially consider for that area, if anybody's interested in that. Atlantic Ave and Beach Ave discussions will be coming up further towards the next couple weeks. But as we all know, East Beach is one of the bigger concerns for residents and the town. So if anybody's interested, I ask that you attend.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion from Jake, second from Jason. All in favor? Opposed? All right.
Is that going to be taped?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes, and I will forward a copy of what we have come to date, so you guys can look it over.
That's good.
All right, so last we have a Chapter 61A release form for Dudley L. Milliken III and Dora Atwater Milliken.
They've withdrawn this, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
All right.
They withdrew it. He's keeping it in 61A,
Beautiful.
the new owner, so they no longer
Great.
need to release it.
all right. Other than that, we have this letter from Foley, Hoag, and Elliott you want to discuss?
Well, for the record, McTripp is selling his property, but he's very ecstatic. He's selling it to a local person from Horseneck Road that have entered into agreement to purchase it for that rather steep price, but the property is beautiful. He came in just recently and discussed the whole process, so he's actually excited that someone is taking the property, and hopefully they carry on it like him. They actually have a dog training facility. They train young dogs with veterans and such, and this land is perfect for them because they have a lot of space for them to run, so.
All right, so we have a letter.
Foley and Hoag is a letter that BBC, Deserts Bay Coalition, has written without the commission's attachment to it. I just put it out to a few members, and they unanimously didn't like the fact that they were speaking for ourselves. And I asked Kathleen that most likely was going to happen tonight at this meeting, and she took it upon herself to pull us and send the letter. So the letter you have is what they've sent to the Water Drinking Supply Division of DEP for consideration, allowing a little more time for review of the recent pump tests that were done.
Well, this was sent, but not with us, not included.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. The Phil, again, has been corresponding with George Campbell. George Campbell has come to minor conclusions, but he's not ready to put his hat on it or write it in pen yet. The hydrogeologist for Buzzards Bay came up with similar to what George mentioned about there being impacts to the brook, but he didn't make the statement as George did that they seem very minor. So we'll see how it falls into place here. But again, the coalition has a bigger concern, and which we all are concerned, and that's the cold water fishery aspect, which, as Phil has reiterated many times, isn't really a part of the regulations. It's a separate review process. So hopefully with our support and the cold water fisheries review is something solid will come of this for us to eventually rule or not rule for the project.
So what did George say on our behalf? He'll have it by the end of August?
Yeah, George said 8 to 10 weeks. He just started reviewing it. He had some follow-up questions for Peter Dillon, who wrote the report. He was sending him an email, picking out a few areas that he had concerns for. So we should see something from George probably within the end of the week or so, I would guess.
Okay.
So.
All right, so that's good. So this is good. By the time we get our letter out, it'll probably be the end of August, sometime early September, mid-September.
All right, the last thing I got for you, Mr. Chairman, is kind of...
I just want.
Oh, go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so there was two things. One is that in the letter that, the email that accompanied Dylan sending all the information out, he's away now. He said when he wanted to come back, he wanted to have a meeting of all the parties. And so, which I think might be productive, to get to some of the other issues that are there. And to my thinking, the big, the kind of the big one is that I think it's clear from the letter that Buzzards Bay wants to have the impact on the cold water fisheries made part of the public water supply permit review, to get DEP and us involved in that. Whereas DEP, I think, has made it clear from the outset that they don't think that for this, because of the relatively small level of withdrawal, that they have any jurisdiction over cold water fisheries. And so I think at some point we need to decide whether or not we're going to kind of go down that path with them, or because that issue is definitely part of our responsibility at the point that the applicant files a notice of intent to operate the wells. And there's really interesting criteria as to how you actually apply that here. Because the cold water fishery is not a resource area, but it's an interest under the Act. And the regulation treats those two things differently. So just to say, one, I don't know if we want to, what's the right word, convene or participate in this, a meeting with everybody. It made me think of what we did on Pine Ridge, where the chair called a meeting, which was not a public meeting because there wasn't a quorum there, and just had the technical people and the regulatory people all together in one room and just kind of hash things out, which I think generally I support that idea. I don't know how it fits into the schedule or not. I don't know why Buzzards Bay needs 2 months to look over this report, because they just asked DEP not to do anything. I don't know.
Hydrogeologist, for the record, is away as well.
Okay, yeah.
Buzzards Bay is.
Yeah. But I mean, there's August and September. I mean, it's kind of like, he's not gone all of August and all of September.
Correct, right.
You know, I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, in just saying, so you have it. I think it's unusual for, unless the applicant goes along with it, an opposing party comes in and says, please delay it, for 60 days, but it's not I don't really think it's in our wheelhouse. I mean,
Correct.
we have to see what they do, but it may be more productive, because I think there's some other issues here, like DEP has 2 outstanding SOCs.
Correct.
And then there's the fact that there's been the whole status of the mitigation that has not been completed.
Yep.
And so there's a bunch of things like that I think it would be worthwhile going through a meeting, because maybe we're going to say, don't bother to file your NOI until you get this mitigation going, and contact DEP and say, what do you do with these SOCs, because this thing has life again in it, and so there's a bunch of things that I think should happen, but and I think we'll eventually. I guess the other thing in the letter, it also says they say they have no long-term plan. They don't know what they're going to do with the property at this point. So, which also I think could affect our decision-making, because it might be really different if they decide, to build a commercial building versus a residential building in terms of, what the water use will be and what the impact will be. So there's just a, so anyway, I'm just,
All right,
so I'm kind of supporting the meeting, and I don't think we should get it, just off the top of my head, I don't think we should get involved in the water supply side of it, unless DEP says that they're willing to do it. If Buzzards Bay wants to go ahead and then appeal the permit, that's okay.
Agreed.
But that's just my opinion.
All right. Okay, so are we gonna have a meeting with them, or not?
Yeah, I would expect I would be willing to meet with them, and as
All
Phil
right.
mentioned, usually it works pretty well, and everybody airs out their concerns.
All right, well,
I just want to bring to the fact that we had a fire today at Excel Recycling on Charlotte Road, and through conversation with Andrew Cooney from the Mass DEP Emergency Response, the wetlands have been impacted from this fire. There was over 10,000 gallons of water utilized today, and there were forever chemicals, I think, administered in order to suppress the fire, and that has gone into those wetland systems. So
It's in the foam.
they
Right, so
are
a big
now
source out there.
looking at an LSP, Form Excel, initiating emergency response requirements for that release. So just to give the commission and select board member some insight in what occurred today. So
Did-
that's at least, that's all I've heard to date. I'm not sure. He was en route to the site, so he was just a few minutes away. They were actually looking for me to give them contact information, and I drew a blank when the owner, that was asked who the owner is, so I couldn't help him.
Where was that again? Where was it?
Excel is on Charlotte Road, just up from Main Road. Used to be Thad's garage, Thad's junkyard, rather.
Oh,
Tires?
I know where
Was
it
it
is.
tires?
No, this was not tires, I don't believe so. I think this was within the recycling materials. I don't know if they were cutting or what happened, but it was further, it wasn't near any homes. It was way in the rear, not way in the rear, but in the middle portion. But they installed those large stormwater basins, and luckily they were there, but the fire chief said that they literally were full, and that the impact was occurring because the water had no place to go but overflow into that wetland system that goes under Main Road. So just information-wise, we may see some further action from that, so.
were they full before the fire, or they full from the fire?
They were bone dry. It was, the fire, yeah. They had Rochester,
Yeah.
Dartmouth,
Wareham.
Compton.
Berkeley,
Yeah,
Freetown.
they
Yeah, they were
called,
going to the pond on 177.
yeah, they were
to
called in a
transport
bunch
water.
because they knew they were gonna run out of water,
Yeah,
so
picking
yeah.
it up all day, yeah.
So, all right?
All right. Anything else, Chris?
No, that's all I have.
Does anybody else have anything they want to discuss?
They'll probably be testing the wells of
Yeah, they should be, right,
the neighbors.
yeah.
Anybody else have anything else they want to
Just
discuss?
like to thank Mr. Gillette for such a great job with the camera work tonight.